All right, what's up guys? Happy Sunday. It is August 1st and we are going to run through my favorite handstand warm-up. I want to give you guys a quick, brief run through of what I do on a typical handstand practice pre-session warm-up. It's pretty simple, and I have found that of all the things I've tried, it comes down to meeting the basics at every segment of the body, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's dive into it. So number one is a variation of a tilt, which is just a lower body hip abduction movement. So I choose something to support myself with, could be anything, table, chair, you name it. Bottom leg straight, upper leg opens, keep that knee bent. I'm gonna try and keep my hips in line and not have an opening such as this. My body kind of stays parallel to the floor. From here, I'm opening that hip as wide as I can, extending the knee as such, and I want to spend around 10 seconds here. Really trying to open that hip as wide as I can. So you can do this hands and knees, you can do this standing, assisted, keep the knee bent the whole time, keep the knee straight, you name it, you modify it to what you need. You want to spend enough time there so that the hip abductors and the glutes feel. Number two is a turnout or horse stance. I call it a turnout squat. So we're starting with the feet just outside shoulder width, 45-degree angle, or feet turned out as much as you can while staying balanced. Then we're going to keep those knees pointing out and squat down as low as we can, parallel to the floor. No need to go lower. Come back up. And as you get a little bit warmer and more confident, you can bring those feet out wider. The goal is to keep the knees open as much as we can, pulling outwards. No need to go below parallel or 90 degrees. And if you're familiar with dancers' warm-ups, this is something that you might find in ballet. And then I'll do something like a 10-second sit and hold here, trying to really drive the knees out wide. And then come back up. On to the next. Third and final lower body warm-up is a simple forward fold. So any width is fine. I often like to take a stance or split stance, and then I'm going to keep that knee straight and tilt that pelvis forward. Come down as low as I can. Now for me, I often like to grab the foot as well. Amplify the stretch a bit. And again, this is just about opening up ranges. We're not training flexibility here. We're just waking up the muscles of the hips so that we're going to be able to practice effectively. At this point, you should be 5 or 6 minutes into your warm-up. Modify everything as you need. Let's move on to upper body. So I keep upper body warm-up very simple. I focus on shoulders and upper back. That's what the demand is in handstands. So all I do is belly down on the floor. From here, hands out in front in external rotation. I'm gonna go 10 prone lifts. With a nice hold, and then I come around in internal rotation. Shoulder pops there. Try and go into shoulder extension as much as I can. Keep the shoulders back and down. Come back around. there you have it. Shoulder and upper back warm-up. Last but not least, in fact, maybe the most important for handstands is the wrists. So first I'll start with wrist circles, 10 or 15 in one direction, 10 or 15 in the other. And then I'm going to go ulnar and radial deviation. And then I will use one hand to take the other side through flexion and extension, just to test the wrist. Sometimes wrists are tighter, sometimes wrists are looser. Overall feeling good. Then I go to the ground, and I'm usually going to start at about shoulder width or just outside. Elbows straight, and I'm just going to slowly rock over each side, keeping the base of the palm on the floor. Going to do this 15 to 20 times total. Rotate the elbows a little bit. Fingers forward. Again, rotate the elbows a little bit. Sometimes the rotation of the elbows and the forearm helps to loosen up the wrist, that radius and ulnar bone. Sometimes that feels good under a little bit of rotation, and then instead of the pavement, I'm going to go back here and I'll go through wrist flexion. So fingers pointing out, elbows straight, and I'll just gently kind of rock back and forth, really focusing on feeling stretch on the outside of the forearm until I feel that is sufficient. 10 reps, 15 reps. And from there, we're good to go. That is it, guys. That is the total warm-up. Should have taken you 10, maybe 12 minutes, depending on how intense you are. But remember, the purpose of a warm-up is to get blood moving, get muscles activated. Do not exhaust yourself. If your warm-up is a workout, tone it back, dial back the intensity. It's too much. It's not helping you be effective in your training. From this, I will go on to a basic 2-arm handstand, then a few shape changes, and then I will move into 1-arm training. So I'll do total 3 to 4 2-arm handstands before I move into 1-arm focused training. And from there, I'm doing my full training session, and then I'll do a little bit of cool down, maybe press work at the end, and then I'll do some wrist strength training. I'll make a separate video on that. So wrist strength training, and depending on the day, some shoulder focused rotational prehab to prevent injury in the future and keep those rotational aspects of the shoulder very strong and stable. So if you appreciated this content, it should be short, sweet, to the point. Please give me a thumbs up. That really helps the videos, tells me that the content is doing well. If you like the channel overall and you appreciate some of the previous videos, leave me a comment below. I always like to hear feedback, and hit that subscribe button and the bell for future videos. So thank you for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.